Hello, I'm Nathan Rockhold, founder and CEO of Rock Solid Labs. Today, we're going to give a brief demo of myInfrastructure. MyInfrastructure is the simplest way for our customers to take bare metal hardware and get their application up and running in the matter of minutes. I'm going to quickly log in here. Once I've logged in, the first screen that comes up is the discovery area. Discovery is a simple area that allows you to actually view everything that myInfrastructure has discovered that exists on your network. So as you can see here, we have a list of nodes that exist out on the network, whether they're Cisco boxes, VMware virtual boxes, some Force 10 networking, some Dell hardware, some Hewlett Packard hardware. It's gone out and inventoried it all. So one of the things I'm going to do is actually show you that we have all kinds of different interfaces in which we can manage this given hardware. We give you a date of when it was last seen. Let's go ahead and say we want to look for Dell hardware. So we filter for Dell hardware. One of the things that you can then do is via the out-of-band management, we can actually go out-of-band and not have to pixie boot into a microkernel with later generation Dell and HP hardware. We can actually go and inventory the systems via Redfish or via the HTTP WS-MAN interface. So what we're going to actually do here is say, okay, we found some Dell servers. We can go ahead and select those servers. So we have one node selected. We can go and inventory those by simply clicking, adding root and Calvin if it's the default out-of-band management password, username and password. And we'll go out and inventory that via out-of-band. Or if that's not possible, we will go in-band and actually inventory it via our microkernel. Once we go ahead and tell it to inventory, we can go ahead and see some things that we've already inventoried. So here is a list of 11 servers. They're all Dell servers. We've got a PowerEdge R730XD that we've inventoried. We've got 10 R620s. One of the things that you can do once things are in inventory is actually take action on these. So let's say we wanted to take all R620s and put in root and Kelvin. And let's say we wanted to actually select all those R620s. And let's say we wanted to power them all off or identify all those servers. Very simply, you can do that via this GUI interface. All these capabilities are also available via our REST API. So if we have all of those nodes selected, we can only take a group action. If we have a single node selected, we can now see node details. We can actually see the IPMI console, or we can control that single node just as we could on the other ones. So let's go ahead and click on node details. Very quickly, you can see that we have all of the physical hardware information as well as all configuration data for this specific node. This allows you to see what BIOS configuration is set on a specific node, allows you to, via the API, look at drift or configuration drift or hardware drift as far as firmware. Let's go ahead and go back here. What we're going to now show you is profiles. So everything in myInfrastructure is profile based. So we have some predefined profiles like BIOS, iDRAC, or ILO, lifecycle controller, storage configuration system, PXE configuration, packages, scripts. Let's go ahead and click on PXE configuration, and let's go ahead and show you an example of one of these config files. These config files are very simple to config. They're all TOML based. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that edit profile. You get a nice editor that you can actually update the profile via the web interface. As you can see here, we have all of these assets are stored inside the system. There's a nice GUI to edit that, or via the command line. If you want to initiate another distribution, you can run on the command line the myinfrad command and then pull Xenial, Trusty, whatever Ubuntu instance or Red Hat or CentOS instance that you would want to install in your infrastructure. Let's go ahead and show you an example of a BIOS profile, which traditionally has been kind of difficult to actually get deployed to systems. So we're going to select. Oh, we need to actually unselect the Pixie profile, and let's go back there. Oops. Let's go back to profiles. Let's go ahead and select this BIOS profile. Now we can edit the profile. We can see here that we have the BIOS processor settings and processor virtualization as enabled. Traditionally, this has been something difficult to get deployed across your whole infrastructure. This is made very simple via myInfrastructure. Now let's go ahead and look at the assets portion of this. As I said earlier, when you create a new distro, it automatically creates a folder inside of the OS section. We've only instantiated Ubuntu instances. As you can see, I clicked on upload accidentally, but you can actually upload files to here via the web interface. You can see here is one of the files inside there that precede. You can see that it actually is downloaded Xenial. There's a kickstart file that we're going to use here in our demo. So let's go ahead and create a deployment. We're going to go ahead and create a rock-solid infrastructure manager demo cluster. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and actually create a deployment here. In creating the deployment, we're going to say RSIM demo cluster. We're going to put the out-of-band management username and password. For this case, it's root and Calvin. And we're going to filter the nodes that we want to do it on. We're only going to do it on those R620 nodes. Go ahead and select all 10 of those R620s. We're then going to select what profiles we want to be added to the system. So we're going to go ahead and only do a Pixie profile for this. And we're going to choose this Ubuntu Xenial RSIM. And then inside the system, it'll actually allow you to do ordering if something like that mattered. Let's say you wanted to deploy a vSphere cluster and you wanted to actually set the processor virtualization to make sure that was turned on first, or maybe do storage configuration. You would put those profiles before the Pixie. You can actually add a delay in between those if that's needed. And then all you do is click Create Deployment. You can see that the 10 deployment jobs were created. The system is currently going through that queue asynchronously and popping those jobs off. In the matter of a few minutes here, a few seconds actually, all of those systems will have been reset via the out-of-band management and are now being told to actually Pixie boot into the actual Ubuntu installation. And we can now go over here to the events section, which actually shows you that several of these systems are already asking for new DHCP leases. This system has everything integrated into there. We don't have to actually manage the DHCP server, but we can actually pick up those Pixie boot requests and offer out those DHCP systems without having to take over your DHCP server and get this system up and running in the matter of minutes. As you can see, literally in the matter of a few minutes, we have actually taken 10 Dell R620 nodes, pushed out a Pixie profile, and that Pixie profile is going to install Ubuntu Xenial and install the rock-solid infrastructure manager software, and that will automatically cluster, allowing the customer to then deploy their containerized applications. So in the matter of probably 5 more minutes, once the Pixie boot installation is completed, those systems will reboot and everything will be automatically clustered and up and running in the matter of 10 to 15 minutes. This drastically decreases the time to taking bare metal hardware and creating a usable infrastructure. Thanks.